Jim Teaching Art presents the Listening Heart Studio.
Hey guys, welcome to the Listening Heart Studio. I'm Jim, and I wanted to share with you something I learned along the way in drawing a page of the Listening Heart. I wanted to make a laundry basket and put it in Emma's room, and I wanted to make it like the one I stare at almost every day. And so I decided I was going to learn how to make a pattern. And so I looked up in the Adobe help forum how to make a pattern. It gives you a pretty brief description. Make a 100 pixel by 100 pixel square, draw, and then hit edit and then save pattern. So you can just do that if you want. You can just go to, make a 100 by 100 pixel square like the one that you're seeing on the screen right now. I did that. And then if you're going to use layers, then you want to take all the layers before you turn it into a pattern and merge them. Otherwise, your pattern won't turn out. And then play with your pattern. And the way I was doing it, I didn't think it was that complex. I thought I had it pretty right on. But when I did make the pattern and I applied it to the laundry basket that I was making, it turned out and it looked, crappy. It was too small, and if I blew it up, it didn't look right. But I thought it's just going to be in, that one page of the book, maybe two. And I didn't want to spend a whole lot of time on it. So I thought it would be good enough. But then it started eating at me. And I thought, man, I could do better than that. And I really wanted to learn to see if I can make a pattern. I like patterns. So a couple days later, I went back and I started a new pattern. So I decided I was going to go a little bit bigger. So I created, instead of a 100 pixel by 100 pixel square, I made mine 600 by 600 pixels, which I thought would give me enough room to get a little detail in there, but not go crazy, because I love detail. I love the little things, and I think it builds onto, especially when you're making a book. The more detail you put into a picture, the more story it tells. Tells a story beyond the words. So, I went in and made the new square, and then I wanted to, since I was going to be connecting everything, I wanted the layout to be perfect. So I decided I was going to use a grid, but then the grid didn't work for me. So I decided to use layer guides, and I was going to draw. I was going to drag them all in one at a time, but I found out you can just go to view, and then guides, and then new layer guide, and you can choose how many guides you want on your canvas. And for mine, I think I chose 8 by 8, maybe, and or maybe it was more. So that was going to give me a good idea of where the wicker straw was going to have to meet, from one end to the other, and so the pattern would match all the way across, and there wouldn't have any breaks in it. And I kind of knew that I probably wouldn't get it right on the first try. So I knew I was going to have to go back and probably redo it. But I figured if I can just redo it once and I can know how to, if I have to redo it, fine, but I'll know how to do it better the next time. So this is me doing it the first time. And if you do it like this, if you watch the video, you can see what I do toward the end, where I'm taking and making a copy of the original painting of the original pattern, and just making a copy of the layer and then joining them together at the center and figuring out what's not lining up and why my pattern looks like crap. then you don't have to do the same. You don't have to make the same mistakes I already made for you. So anyway, I'm gonna get this video to go a little bit faster, and I'll explain everything when I think you need an explanation. But for the drawing part, I don't think you need too much explanation. Okay, so I got a little carried away on the detail, but I don't have a wicker basket that looks like that at all. So the wicker on here, I just kind of got crazy with, but I wanted to see if I can make a pattern that was that detailed and make it work. So I want to be able to apply this to other things in my work, like if I'm going to do like a lot of pipes or cities or anything where I'm going to be doing where I can get away with using a large pattern in the background, or something that needs the pattern is going to be really detailed, and it's going to be where I can repeat that over and over again and have it be just as detailed. I want to be able to do that. So here's the first test of that, the one pattern I made. So I had a feeling it wasn't going to turn out. I was hoping for better, but when I applied it, first I didn't realize it was going to be it was going to be as big as it was. Or when I first applied it to, like, I think I started at 350 DPI canvas, and it came out pretty big. So, but that's okay for me. I like working. I like working on the higher the DPI, the better. So I like the way that looked, but as I got closer to it, I realized it wasn't really what I wanted. I could see a lot of flaws in it, and I wanted it to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. Like I said, I could have gotten away with the first one, but this one, I wanted to make it work, mainly because I wanted to see if I could. So you can see on where the wicker is supposed to meet from the original square, it doesn't square up. So there's a lot of stuff that's off. Like the ends don't quite meet up, and then from top to bottom, there's a lot of overlay I don't want, and you can really see, where it just doesn't work. And for me, I didn't like that. So maybe I'm a little OCD. I don't know. But I always think of the the first Alien movie when Sigourney Weaver goes to talk to Mother, and she gets into that seat in that room. And I remember seeing the making of Alien where Ridley Scott wanted every button in that room to have a label on it, and every button had to have a purpose. And I was like, that's kind of how my brain works. I just have to, all the details, they have to be like something that's tangible. Sometimes even when you can't see it. So, I mean, like I said, before I could have gotten away with that other wicker, but I would have kept on looking at it and saying to myself, dang it, I could have done that better, So now I know I did it better. And here's how, because I figured out if you go back. So what I'm doing now is I'm making a duplicate of the layer, so that I can like match up. I can match up the bottom, or I can make the bottom and the top of the original layer meet, just like they would in when you produce a pattern. And so, once I figured out how I was going to do that, I wasn't too sure. I thought maybe I could just do like 4 separate squares, but that was a lot more work. So I was like, I'll just do it from top to bottom, and then from edge, one edge to it, from left to right. And then I was like, I probably won't have to do it from left to right. I'll probably just have to do it from top to bottom, and then scoot it over to the, do the same thing, make another duplicate of the layer and scoot one side over to another, and then be able to make a match. But you'll see what I'm doing in the video to do it. And then all I did was just, once I got it lined up the way I wanted it to fall into place, I just created another layer over those 2 layers, and just used my paintbrush to put them together. And so I got them. So it's just half of each layer is all that's visible, and then you just go and then take your paintbrush and then work the design together however you want. But that's just for this repeating design. I'm not doing like bunny rabbits or like frogs on a blanket or anything. I'm not doing a pattern for cloth. I'm doing a pattern for a laundry basket. So it's a very purposeful pattern. It's something that I made just for this one, just for this purpose, and not for much else. I mean, who knows? I might use it somewhere else, but I don't think I will. But if you do want this pattern, I'm going to leave a link so that you can get it for free, and you can also have the laundry basket. So I turned the laundry basket into a smart object, so you can mess around with it. But it's you'll be able to get it off of the link. I'm going to put it up on Gumroad, and you can download it from there if you just want to keep this pattern. But anyway, so that's all I got for you now. Once you get your, hopefully you guys learned something from this. Your 2 layers to join up. If you have any questions or you're happy with the way they look, comments or anything that I might be able to help you with, I'd be more than happy to. So drop me a line. And thanks for watching. Or anything that you feel like is going to have a beautiful day. Your pattern later. Bye. I just merged the 2 patterns that I had made, and I didn't I didn't want them to I didn't want it to lose any of the work that I had done. And it doesn't matter, it's a pattern. So, and once I've got those merged together and I feel like it looks good and I don't want to add anything else to it, or add any shadows or whatever, feet, arms, legs, I used my guides to find the center of the canvas, and for the only reason is because I wanted to be able to move that layer, and be able to move it exactly to where to the very end, so I can match up both ends without really having to adjust anything else. And so once the ends meet up, I did better on the ends than I did from top to bottom. But so once those are lined up, then you just go over and you do the same thing that you did with the original 2 layers. Is you're just working from left to right now instead of from top to bottom. You just go make another layer, work over those. And the reason I make another layer is just because you don't want to mess up you don't want to have to go back and redo everything if you're not if you don't have to. So another layer always helps. You can just delete it, start over if you want, but it makes things a lot easier. And so when I get these lined up, then I'll just again I'll do another practice run to see need if I need to come back and adjust the layer at all, and then I'll try to and if I'm happy with it, I'll just apply it to the dang laundry basket and be done with it. So one thing I have to mention is like when you do get when you are finished with your pattern and you feel like, hey, maybe there's a little bit more I can add to it, stay away from your edges, because that's when you create your pattern, so that you know don't work on your edges, because when you create your pattern, those are the ones that meet, and if you already have those perfect, you don't want to mess them up. So anything within in the middle out toward the edges, you're fine working on, but once you have those ends meeting up, all right, you don't want to mess them up after that. You just want to keep them nice and clean. And then when you're ready to make your pattern, um, just go to edit and define pattern. Give your pattern a name, and then it'll show up in your patterns library. I always, whenever I do anything, whenever I make my own shape or brushes, I give myself a new folder for everything. So for this project, it's the listening heart. So I have a listening heart patterns folder. And if I need to get a subfolder for that, I will. But, whenever I make a brush for a project or anything like that, it's always in that project. And I'll use it for other stuff, but I always know where it is, and it shows up in your library regardless of where you put it. But as long as you know where it is, then you're golden. So now I'm applying. It's like the second run on this, and I notice a lot more stuff. I thought I had it right, but now here's the old pattern, and then I put the new pattern down, and then I realize it's still missing some stuff. And I mean, when I say missing, it actually missing pixels, actually stuff that I didn't paint. So that's the new pattern. That's the one we just finished. And I look closer and I'm like, man, what did I do wrong? The thing I did wrong was I didn't take my time, and I was in a hurry. So now it's just taking that pattern and going back and just doing the same thing I did before. I don't have to put as much work into it because it's not a whole lot of correction. It's just where there's those little holidays where you can see through the pattern. I mean, it's small, but still, I didn't like it. So, time to go back to the original pattern and then work that, work out those little kinks, and then that's it, right? That should be it. And that's it. I got it. Right. So the pattern turned out well. So after doing it 3 times, I finally got it, and now it's yours for the price of free 99. That's right, free 99, folks. Anyway, the link is right here. and it's also in the show notes. So that's about all, except for the application and just applying it to whatever you're going to use it for. And so I'm happy with the way the um, I'm happy with the way the pattern turned out. So now I'm going to take the laundry basket from that page and apply my pattern to it. And you guys are probably laughing at me, going, "Man, guy's crazy for just putting that much work into one little page." Yeah, believe me, I know. I feel that. I feel like, yeah, it is kind of crazy, but like I said, you're or like I said, I have that thing for detail, and also just to see if I could do something, and make it look really good. So now, let me see where um, that laundry basket is. And I don't do this for everything in the book. I mean, I make everything in the book like a separate object, mostly. And like I said, that's for animation purposes. But I didn't think I was going to be animating the laundry basket, but I don't know. Maybe we'll see. But I know a lot of stuff in Emma's room. It moves around in the animation, so. Um, and the rest of the stuff, I'll probably put that up on Gumroad too, where you can download all the assets from the Listening Heart. And don't forget, there's that a fundraiser I've got for the Listening Heart, which is put your book in my book, which is just buying stuff from the Listening Heart, merchandise like shirts, T-shirts, stickers. But the big one is put your book in my book, and that's where you give me the title of a book that you're writing or somebody else is writing, one of your friends, or it could be your daughter or your cousin, your niece, nephew, doesn't matter, or your granddad or whoever, like some imaginary book, and the name of the author, and I'll put that somewhere in the Listening Heart, because there's a lot that has to do with reading in the Listening Heart. There's a lot of books that come into play, and the main character is always around a lot of books. And that's where she finds respite from the noise. So there are only going to be 50 books available where you can purchase a book and put it on Emma's shelf, and it will help me get the funds I need to actually publish this on paper. So anyway, putting this this pattern down into this basket. There's a few ways you can do it. I know a few. It's one with a clipping mask if you want to do a clipping mask, and that's pretty easy. But for me, I think just when I just paint it in, I can adjust it by just using the tools, just using your adjustment tools on your bounding box, and you can get it to fit. If you're trying to make it, try to fit like certain angles or something, you just use smaller clips of your pattern. But here I can just use a big clip. If you make a clipping mask, like on this, the laundry basket is a few layers. So there's the actual drawing of the laundry basket, and and then there's a drawing of the clothes in the laundry basket, and those are all separate layers. And the layer beneath the drawing, is just white. And so so the drawing itself is just black, and then there's the white beneath it. So I can set anything I want in between there. I can do without worrying about destroying the drawing, or not being able to get back to not being able to do anything to that. And it's really cool because I can just color it if I want to later. And so there's using the clipping mask. But when you use the clipping mask, or not the clipping mask, but the selection tool, you only get that section. So instead, just you can just paint it, and then adjust it. Just paint it in a box and adjust it to where you need it to be. So I painted the whole thing, and now I can just move it to where I want it to be in the drawing. And it's pretty simple just to change the perspective on it. And I'm still using a clipping mask, but I'm only using it because I don't want to have to go around and erase all the edges of the pattern after I'm done. I just want to erase a little bit of it. So like where it overlaps the handle and covers up the white, I'll just erase that. And so the reason I adjusted it this way on the front of the laundry basket is the change in perspective. And so that is just, I just do another clipping mask layer beneath that, and then put the pattern into the clipping mask, or just paint the pattern in the clipping mask there on the next one. And that way I don't have to work too hard at erasing all the edges and being careful not to erase too far, or whatever. Clipping masks are cool. That's going to be about it for this project. So hope you guys learned something. Hope you enjoyed watching it. And don't forget to like and subscribe and all that cool stuff. And visit the links in the show notes and check out some of the Listening Heart stuff. And there's a few other videos from the Listening Heart. But there's going to be there's a lot more on my Patreon page if you become a part of the Listening Hearts, which is a member tier on my Patreon page, and it's $6.50 a month, so it's not that much. And I have longer videos that are a little bit more involved and a little bit more detailed about putting together a page for like a comic book, or in this case a children's book, and about composition and working up a design that's going to work well with text and story and all that good stuff. Anyway, y'all have a awesome Thanksgiving. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you. And I'll see you when I'm looking at you.